I didn't really want to do that video, but I just cannot help but think about it. It's I have two sleeping beauties here and just went grocery shopping just for a little bit of food. I have to prepare for a birthday party on Saturday. That will be another trip for things, but um so since I have my driving license in Japan, which I had to go do in Tokyo, and I have previous videos about that, so I don't want to talk about it. Since then, I've had two incidents, and both times before the replacement of the new license, you have to go through a lecture. And I believe the first time was, yeah, I think both times was like an hour, and the second one 30 minutes or something like that, or the first one was 30 minutes, I don't remember. But they pretty much in that lecture they show you, they give a little booklet, which I have no idea what's going on in there. Like every time I see kanji, it's just like my head goes like a mush. It's just everything becomes like blur. I don't really know what's going on, but anyway, so I don't really look. I just look at the pictures, and they play videos of incidents that have happened throughout the years. And this one, that is a big one that I remember in Tokyo. They told me about it. They told us in a lecture about that too. I guess it was few years back. This guy was drunk driving and hit the family on one of those bridges, the big bridge, and over the ocean. And was it like the bridge that connects our island to the mainland? I'm not sure. But anyways, the guy hits a car, and that car is a family, and everybody with the car sinks down, and I don't know. So nobody survives in that family. I think I'm not sure the details, but it's a big one. It's a big accident. Like those things don't happen every day. And then he calls his friend to come before the police and to bring like 10 liters of water or something, so he can start drinking water, so he can get negative test for the drunk test. And of course I'm pretty sure since then he's in prison. I'm pretty sure he's there now too. But anyway, so what we were talking about yesterday, we were talking like, was it during lunch and like in the evening or something? I know the kids were home, so it must have been evening, about the second incident I had. It was really bad, and I'm so grateful my kids. I had two of my three kids, and the babies were not in the picture yet. But that happened the year when the babies were conceived. I actually knew that year, that day. On my birthday, I realized that I was pregnant with them, but I didn't know. Yeah, but like that year in January is when the accident happened. And I was in our car and in a rush on a Saturday to go to some English class that he was holding in the whatever community center. And then one of the kids went with him to set up projectors and whatever. And then I was coming with my other two, and they usually fight who to be sitting in front of, like next to me here, and who wants to be in the back. And that morning, none of them fought. They just went all the way to the back, not like here in the middle where the babies are now, but like all the way to the back. And it was like a 7-seater car like this one. And I was like, I didn't say anything. I just went, and there was this like narrow street, where those narrow little streets that they call streets, but it's actually like seriously like walking alleys in parks. in other countries. It's just really narrow. But regardless the narrow, it was like close to the school. It was like the street going towards the elementary school where my kids go. And it was like kind of like rainy or gloomy, and it was really cold that day. And I was crossing the an intersection, that intersection where the school is, and I was crossing it. I was in the middle of it, almost at the end of it, and there was like this boom, and my car from the hit gets shocked and stops, and then just slowly starts moving towards the wall of the school. And this side of the mirror just collapsed and fell down here. And I had my backpack there, and the boys in the back started like, oh my gosh, we had a car accident, whatever. So I was like, are you guys okay? No panic, don't worry. And then that grandpa came out from it was not like a car, but like a small van. Not like a big van. Like when you think of a van, it's like in the States, like a big van. It was like tiny, teeny kind of like narrow, small van. I don't really see many of those cars, but really strange cars. But he came out and he, started looking at my hands if I have bloody hands or something. But it was not my window, it was like the side. But anyway, so in this car, the driver is on this side, not on this side. So the police came and they started investigating the stuff, and I was coming from the rarer road, and he was coming from the more like main kind of road. And from where he was coming is like kind of like downhill. And yeah, it is not kind of, it is downhill. And where I come from, on my right side is this shrine, Buddhist shrine, and then on the other side is a parking for the Buddhist shrine. But there is also this sign they have, the Buddhist shrine, so it kind of like you cannot really see much to the left. And it was again gloomy, rainy day, and his car was like, I don't know, silverish, grayish, kind of like the same gloom kind of color. And long story short, they made it to be 50-50. They decided it's gonna be 50-50, the mistake. And nobody was hurt, nobody was dead, nobody was like hospitalized, so that was good. I remember I did go for a month afterwards to this rehab for the neck, because the next day, that day I was okay, but the next day when I woke up, I felt like my head, my neck was like somebody beat the crap out of me from the back. It felt really weird. So I did go for a month after work, 3 times a day, a week or something. And they did put some electrical blah blah blah, and then some warm thing there. I was like, I could totally do that at home too, but whatever, it was free because insurance was covering it. But anyways, it was fine, I was fine. But the kids were fine too, they're kids. But I remember my father-in-law came too, and with his K-truck, a little tiny truck, and he was also talking to the police with the husband came too, because I called him and I was like, we were crashed, and just around the corner where you are. And he came and they talked a lot, and the guy was asking questions, and there was this really nasty guy that was like shorter than me, with this fuzzy, funky hair, oily hair or gelled hair. And he was like so nasty, like his attitude was so nasty, as if as if it was all my fault. And so I was like, dude, I have 2 kids in the car. Do you think I would go and be reckless and not see that jerk coming towards me? And the funniest part was, the guy was a neighbor, a grandpa neighbor, and his daughter and his granddaughter goes with my son that was in the car in the same class at school. So it was really super awkward. And I just lost, like, I was like, that's it, I don't know what to do anymore here. It's just like those, you know, I realized I didn't see him. I promise you guys, I didn't see him, but if I saw it, I wouldn't let that happen. That's what I'm saying. So that narrows to this day. That was like how many years ago? 3 years ago. To this day, every time I go to that intersection, I'm so careful now, because it's just really, you don't really have visibility from right or from left. They have this mirror that you can look at from the right, but the left, it's really, that's not the end of the story. So they make it 50-50, which means, I don't know what it means. We said goodbye to that car. That car was a goner. We sold it for like junk in the junkyard, whatever, and got this one. This is hybrid. Apparently doesn't need as much gas as the normal car, but what my son saw, the one that goes with his granddaughter in the same class, he was sitting on that side. So he saw the car coming. He was like, I guess it happened so fast he couldn't tell mommy, mommy, there's a car or something. He said when the car was coming towards us, that dude, he was not looking up, he was not looking straight, he was looking down in some kind of papers or phone, or I don't know what he was looking, but he was definitely not looking. And honestly, coming from uphill, he could have, if he was looking the roads, he would see me coming, because I was driving really slow. Like in that small narrow road, you cannot drive really fast. They're really narrow, and I'm always scared, so I never drive there even with 30. I just drive with 20 kilometers per hour, if not less. And so he, seriously, honestly, he could have seen me from up, because he was coming from up. It's like a hill down, but he wasn't looking at the road, and he probably assumed, if he saw me, he assumed that I will stop, and he just was, it was inertia. He was going down, and he didn't even push any brakes. Why would he? I don't know. So my father-in-law comes and tells me, oh, don't worry, I think it's 80% his fault and 20 yours. Like, he was talking to me like with so much confidence, as if he is the policeman. And at that point, it was so cold too, so I was freezing. I was like, we didn't have jackets or anything. We were just like going from home to that building, so we don't really need jackets. I froze to death, man. Those kids, so he took the kids and took them home to his grandma's to watch them, but I stayed. And yeah, they made it 50-50. And then yesterday, when we were talking with husband, I was like, I still cannot go over, like, I don't know what we were talking about, but I just said I still cannot go over the fact that it was 50-50. And he was like, he just very slowly and very calmly told me, it was actually more like 80% your fault and 20 his fault, because you didn't see him. And I was like, all those years I've been trying to forget and forgive and just let go. But for whatever reason, every time I see that grandpa, I don't really want to be around him. I know he didn't do it on purpose, but I know also that he could have been much more alert going down that hill. But anyways, so make whatever you want out of this. Not a good memory. And telling me yesterday that was like almost completely my fault is just, nevertheless, nobody was hurt, and everything was okay, so that's good. That's like the good part about it, and move on. Conversation finished. It's like, really? You're telling me now 3 years later that it was actually more my fault than his fault, so I should be grateful it was 50-50. That's the kind of person I'm living with. Not honest, not saying everything up front, telling me years later things, and it just very uncomfortable and uncertain feeling living with a person like that, and never there for you for like the comfort of any kind of comfort, like hug or like to crown his shoulder. Never, ever, ever. Even after the miscarriage, before the babies, and after my third one. That's the people you have to deal with here. They just suck it up and go on. Keep on going, because you're made of iron and you cannot bend. Yeah, I just wanted to let this out so I can let out and let go, hopefully, and don't even think about it after anymore. It's part of my life. It's not a good memory, but I don't want to go back to that and remember it over and over again, and just want to let go out of it. Okay, that's it.